Yo, what's up, everybody? Insane Game Freak here. So, I think we're less than a week away from the launch of the Switch. And before that, I wanted to kind of talk about the console it is replacing for many gamers. And I understand for a lot of gamers, it'll be their first Nintendo console either since the Wii or since the GameCube, probably. But I wanted to talk about the Wii U because it is the console that for any Nintendo fan who's always been up to date and current with Nintendo, this is what it's replacing. So you can kind of call this the Wii U Reminiscing video. This is my entire physical collection, by the way. This is every physical Wii U game I own. And you see Shantae in the box right there. That probably isn't coming out of the box for obvious reasons. Particularly because I'm probably going to triple dip on that game. Way more than I need to. Fuck it. Doesn't matter. Anyways, so to kind of start from the beginning. And I'll probably go through the games as I'm doing this. I got the Wii U not at launch. I think even of the Juice Loops podcast, I think I was the only person not to have that console at launch. Although the podcast wasn't even a thing. Well, I wasn't either. The podcast wasn't a thing, and I wasn't even on the podcast when it was a thing in the beginning. I got it in 2013. I got it like summer 2013. It was like right before E3. There's a video on this channel of me getting the console, so I had it. And some of you would ask, well, what are the first games you got? Well, obviously, I'm looking for it now. You had your obvious Nintendo Land and your, where is it? New Super Mario Brothers. But if you ask me what I majority played until like fall of that year, it was the fucking Rayman Legends Challenge app. Rayman Legends was going to be the game that made me get the Wii U in February. As we all know, that turned into some shit and the game got delayed, and so the game didn't come out until like August or September of that year, with the ports of at that point it would have been the 360 and PS3 versions, and then later on after the PS4 and Xbox One came out, you got the definitive editions, which the Wii U never got, which apparently we're getting for the Switch. It's very confusing and very fucking ridiculous. The point is that for like the first few months I had the console, I was only playing a fucking challenge app of a game I hadn't even owned yet. For me, I was just kind of amazed with the system because this was the first like touchscreen thing I had. Well, not touchscreen thing, I guess I should say. It was like the first touchscreen home console, and I remember for like that first year or two, I was just enamored with this touchscreen console and all the little minor conveniences. I was on Miiverse like a crazy person. For me, the Wii U, and kind of like the Wii was, even though they're not the most light Nintendo consoles, let's be for real here. There's a good chunk of Nintendo fans who do not like or respect the Wii brand. Particularly because they think it hurt Nintendo in the long run, and in some ways I can agree with that and understand where they're coming from. But for me, the Wii U was all I played. Like literally, this is it. I played all this for the last, I want to say 4 years. It was between this and the 3DS. I didn't play any other system. I didn't play it at PS4 because I just got that early, not even a month ago, like a few weeks ago. I've been playing a Nintendo console only for like 3 or 4 years, and so this is coming from the perspective of a gamer who didn't touch any of the newest games coming out for PS4 and Xbox One. I may have been playing PS3 during that year, that last year of that year when the PS4 came out. I don't even remember. For me, this system marked a lot of firsts for me, and that's partially why this console always have a place in my heart. This was the most experimental I think I've been in gaming since probably in a while. Like this is because think about it. All right, and I think I've said this before. Let me put it in perspective. I had already played Gear because I played Rayman Origins on PS3, and I bought this version. Sonic, that was a definite. But just to talk about some first here, first DK game. I didn't play Returns on the Wii. I'm not gonna say first Zelda game, but kind of. Obviously new. I already played the first one on the PS3. This was my first Xenoblade game. These two were my first real Mario games that I really got into, and I mean that in like the traditional free, because I haven't really played 3D Mario much. I think the last one I played was probably Sunshine, and I know I didn't get far into it. I couldn't wrap my head around Mario's controls and everything, but that's not the point. Even delved into Zelda consistently. First Pikmin title. Where is it? First Star Fox title. There was a lot of experimenting I did this generation, and that's partially due to two things: the lack of games to play, so you had no other choice, or you just didn't play anything, like a lot of people did. There's a lot of reason why a lot of people said the Wii U was a dust collector. And let's be fair for real, and for those who remember, because one of my biggest complaints with the Wii U in the beginning of its life cycle wasn't the lack of games, but the games we were getting was just like a barrage of one genre, platformer. Platformer. I'm talking about games that came out like within the first year, so like near the end of 2013. Platformer, platformer, uh, platformer. That was the exception. That was the exception. But like everything else that came out that 2013 was probably, at least from Nintendo, or even some of the third party, was just like this barrage of the same goddamn genre. And if you weren't a fan of that genre, then you were screwed. But it also allowed me to try a whole bunch of franchises I wasn't initially. Pikmin 3 I was curious about, and I said, well, why not? There's nothing else to play. I don't know. It's like I understand the reason why gamers had such disdain for the console. Because realistically, if you're a gamer and you're someone who wants to have a choice, that's the whole point of buying. That's people's argument for buying multiple consoles, to have various different choices in the games they want to play. And people's biggest argument against Nintendo consoles is that, well, Nintendo consoles, it's pretty much either the game that comes out that month, you either like it or you don't, and that's it. So I understand the argument, but for me, it also worked for me to try things and get some new experiences and gain some appreciation for some of the franchises that, for all intents and purposes, kind of went over to the wayside. I mean, think about it. This generation may have been an issue, but there are certain franchises that ended up flourishing in this generation. Pokemon being one, Smash Brothers being one, Mario Kart went through a weird revival in the sense that, and it's not like Mario Kart never sold well, it's just that like people had their issues with Wii. 7 was good, but people were looking for that new Mario Kart. That is arguably, and I think almost everybody has agreed, is at least top 5 of the Mario Karts. At least top 5. We got our brand new IP this generation. I think arguably people say Pikmin 3. I've heard two things about Pikmin 3. I heard arguably it's the best game in the series, and it's probably one of the best looking games on the Wii U. Mario Maker, let's be for real here. If that doesn't turn into the replacement for 2D Mario, people will be surprised and shocked. There's just a lot of things. I'm probably missing some games. Obviously, Bayonetta 2 being better than the first one. Wonderful 101 being a really great small IP that may or may not even see a resurgence considering how poorly it sold. This being a kick-ass RPG, even from like old school, even people who weren't high, and that's another fucking franchise that went through a kind of a revival this generation. Fire Emblem. I mean, a lot of it was on the 3DS, but it'd be an argument to say that shit hasn't bled into other things like mobile and fucking and console gaming again. Think about it. Fire Emblem hasn't had a console game since the fucking Wii, because people don't count this because this is a crossover game. And it also wasn't it wasn't made by Intelligent Systems. It was made by Atlas. We're getting our fucking first Fire Emblem game in like a console generation next year, supposedly. At least it'll be announced next year officially. A lot of friends, and even though people have their issues with this game still exists, and it's still a new Star Fox game. So it isn't dead yet, but a lot of people have their apprehension. I don't know. This generation for me was a lot of. I will always enjoy this console for what it got me into. what it represents to me, which is also it's the first. It's the first Nintendo home console I was able to purchase by myself. For those who don't know, the Wii came out in 2006, and I was like 15 when the Wii came out, and unfortunately for me, I didn't have a job that could really. I got the Wii for Christmas, and people know it also came out the same year as the PlayStation 3. And my mother gave me an ultimatum. She says, no matter which one I get, this is the last console I'm buying for you. And then two, you have to choose. And so I picked the Wii, and the Wii was the last console my mother ever paid for. And I believe she didn't even buy any of the games for the Wii. I think the Wii I had to buy the games for. So I bought all the games for the Wii, and I bought... and the Wii U was the first console I bought everything for. There is everything on this fucking bed and then that's on my eShop account. I bought, and so that's part of the reason why this console even means as much as it does to me. Anyway, this is the first fucking handheld I bought. I mean, it's the first console I bought. It's the first Nintendo console I bought by myself. There is no external help whatsoever when it came to the console in these games. So every decision I made in terms of purchasing is what I live with. And I'll be honest with you, this is about, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 14. These have 6 on them. 14 plus 12, 26. I have 26 physical games in the course of 3 years. 3 going into 4 years. I'm not really salty about that, because that's about almost a game a month. Obviously, it didn't space out like that, and I don't know. It's just kind of crazy to think that the next console's coming. The next console being an even smaller one and a more what's the term I'm looking for? A bigger change than what you would be expecting, and you're just kind of like, wow, we're already at that point, man. And granted, this is about the same amount of time as a normal console cycle, but let's be fair here. The Wii U officially is a little bit over 4 years old, but most people say it died in 2016 because the last 2 games I bought was a game that came out in summer and a game that came out at the very end of the year, which is on other platforms. So, for me, I can't not like this console. I understand its problems and I understand its faults, but I feel like it's a console that's very important to Nintendo, its history, and its future. And for me, it's the same thing, because now, when Fire Emblem comes out on the Switch, I'm way more inclined to get the game, because that's what I spent this generation doing, playing Fire Emblem. You know, when we get Pokken Tournament 2, which I think is still a thing, but considering the arcade version of the game is still getting updates, I wouldn't be surprised if that got a sequel. I'm actually banking on that getting a sequel. It's because of the Wii U game. It's because of the Wii U game, because of the Wii U, this sequel will exist. Splatoon 2 exists. And then eventually when we get our port, and even Xenoblade, for example. Xenoblade. I honestly think this game was a huge part of why Xenoblade 2 exists. Because Xenoblade did well enough in the US. And granted, I think the Wii will always have that Xenoblade love. But I think it was a combination of the Wii game doing well and this game doing well that went, all right, that's another franchise we could put in the rotation. Great. This is the reason why we're getting Fire Emblem Warriors. Let's be fair here. You know, there are a lot of games here that pave the way for future games. I'm pretty sure Pikmin 4, same thing. And this, the eventual port or sequel, I think there's a lot here that will end up dictating how the Switch continues. To deny the importance of this console and these games, I think is doing a disservice. And granted, I'm missing a few games like Yoshi's Woolly World, like Kirby and the Canvas Curse. Although, to be fair, that game I don't, regardless of the game's quality, I don't think that game has much of an impact, as that was more of a love letter to people who like the DS game original it came from. Um, I think Yoshi Woolly World is a different story because a lot of people argue that that's like the best Yoshi game, or at least it's another one of those top five, top three games. So yeah, it's kind of hard to talk about because there's not really, in a way, there's not much to say, but or is that I can't figure out what the right thing to say is. Um, this console generation for Nintendo has been important. This console in general is important, and although I'm going to be going through the process uh, of moving all this stuff over and making room for my new system, I don't want to forget what this console means to me, because no matter what anyone tells me, and regardless of how you feel about the Wii U, I deem it. I still enjoyed this generation. I still enjoyed these games. I still enjoyed the fun times I had, whether it was online or locally or uh, by myself. I enjoyed the indies I played. I enjoyed the digital games I played. I enjoy like Fatal Frame. That's another fucking thing. If they continue that franchise, I hope they do. Although that game won't be the same, considering we won't have the gamepad usage, which is another thing I appreciate. Just the gamepad brought a whole bunch of small little things for me, and even some of the games that heavily used it, like this Bastard or Fatal Frame or Wonderful 101 or Pikmin 3 or what else? This game fucking used it. Even though there was a lot of misses and some people don't like the asymmetrical gameplay, it brought me a lot of cool experiences that I still enjoy. And I hope, and as I said, what got me in the franchises I wasn't playing before. And some of you could argue that's just the maturity of a gamer, that sometimes you just grow up and you get into more stuff because your tastes change. At the same time, the game has to be there to make you want to change your taste in the first place. You might have an inkling to try something different, but if there's nothing new to play, then what difference does it make? Because everybody rather try a new game than an old game. um, I just enjoyed this console, man. I can't really explain it any other way. I had fun with this console. I had fun with the games it provided me. I got a lot of cool videos, and to be honest with you, it's probably been some of the most interesting time as a Nintendo gamer on YouTube, because this game by itself made watching Nintendo channels fun as fuck, because every time a new Direct came out, actually yeah, and every time a new Direct came out, every time you were just waiting for that, and you wait for the Smash Brothers logo to come up, and you were just like, who's showing up next? And it never fucking really stopped. I mean, it kept going up until like last year, I believe. Last year, and it was just cool. I don't know. We also got a lot of animated shit. Like, for example, animation for Star Fox, animation for Pikmin 3. I think a lot of 3DS games got some stuff too. I'm kind of just rambling at this point. But, I don't know. I like video games. I like Nintendo products. And I like the Wii U. No matter, and I think that's what I'll just end it with this. No matter what people say about you and say how bad you were marketed, how poorly named you were, the confusion that was created because of you and your predecessor, the inconsistency with games, the online woes, whether it was the interface or the goddamn network system or the connections in general, no matter what everyone says about you, you still deserve to exist. You still brought people fun times and games. And you were part of the reason, at the very least, part of the reason why people are looking forward to new games and new systems. The Switch wouldn't be what it is, partially, without you. And for that, I thank you. So later days, Wii U, you deserve a rest. People are still going to badmouth you for a while. It's just something that you're going to have to deal with. I apologize in advance. But hopefully, kind of like the Wii in time, or the GameCube in time is actually a better example. You will be learned to be appreciated on some level. But for me, and I think to the Nintendo fans who also still like you, I appreciate what you were. Thanks. Later days, Nintendo Wii U. Which is funny, because as soon as I end this video, I'm literally going to put all this shit up. It sucks. Especially, I kind of don't want to put it up because of Shantae updates. I might just have to bite the bullet and rebuy the game. I don't know. I haven't decided yet. But I'm at least putting these games up. Yeah. Anyways, later days, Wii U. On to your new brother. Well, I hope him well. It's so stupid. Life's a game. Play to win. And I will catch you guys later.